Alright, so I think I'm completely set up. Let's see if the stream shows up. I think so. Copy URL, copy a link, copy. I think that's what we want. Right. No typos, man. Come on. The ByteDelight. Yes. Share. Now put it everywhere so people know. I hope there's no strange things going on here because it's a bit of a mess. But we'll do some live cleaning up here. Why not, you know? I'm just copying the YouTube link on Facebook. I still need a sidekick, permanent sidekick. Maybe I can clone myself or something. Maybe I can write a script there or something like that. Because doing this by myself is just boring for you guys. But anyway, it's done, so we can get on with it. Just checking if the stream is actually running. Why is it red? There's a red light here. Why is the stream showing up with a red light? I am uploading, so that's not a problem. 60 frames per second, but there is a red dot here. Why is there a red dot? I don't know. Oh, now it's green, okay. Goedemorgen, good morning, Lactobacillus prime. I was wondering what your name meant, but then I see the cow icon and probably has to do something with milk. Alright, let's put on some music. I have a very nice tune here. Let's show it up for a second on my right screen. I found this one just a moment ago. I think it's an awesome compilation and runs for about 41 minutes, okay. Enough for that. Enough music for keeping us busy for the time. And merging some windows here because otherwise I am not able to see what I'm doing myself. Zen Club, good morning. Is it morning? No, it's afternoon. Why do you say good morning? Because it's not good morning. It's a good day, but it's not morning anymore. My camera is on my left at this moment because I think this view is better than just seeing my face only. So I hope it's alright with you guys. People are coming in at the moment. I hope the music is not too loud. I don't think so. I think you can put it out a bit because it's cool music, I think. I'm getting lots of messages at the moment. Oh man, my mailbox is filling up. Stop it! Anyway, let's just get rid of the email client. Alright. So we're live, lots of people are coming in. Darren, good morning. Morning. Why do people still say morning? I know it's 12 o'clock in the UK, about 12 o'clock, but it's still afternoon. Am I right? Jan, goedemiddag. Why bonjour, Frank? Because it's really a typical Dutch day for us here, because at this moment Frank and us are living in the city where the famous Marathon of Eindhoven is. So we all benefit from that by not going outside, because there's no way getting in or outside Eindhoven at the moment. The only thing you can do is walk, but there's no way of getting anywhere with a car. Right. Oh, I like France, Frank. So that's not a problem. We go to France a lot, either Disney, either Paris, or somewhere else. Somewhere there. Anyway, Renee, good morning. Paul, good morning. Hope I'm not missing anyone. Alright, let's see. I have a really filled program. So you may be asking if you missed the last Friday, why is he doing another show today? Well, that's because I have lots of work to do and some stuff that is sitting on the floor here at the moment. Can't wait another week because I need space and I need to process some of the stuff that came in this week. And I wouldn't dare unpacking the stuff, or actually I unpacked it already, but going through the stuff that I received last week without you guys seeing what came in and what cool stuff is going on here. Let's see if I'm not missing out anything. I think everything is okay here. So I think it's time for the intro. Oh, I need some buttons. I need some buttons because I actually can't. I need to do lots of things when I want to switch off the YouTube music. I like hearing the intro tune myself. That's the issue. Anyway, we're back, and I can put back on the YouTube music. Where is it? Here it is. All right. So you could say I couldn't wait for another week. Well, actually 5 days because it's already Sunday. Yeah, well, where will I start today? I don't know. Maybe it's good to start with that this Saturday we will meet with many Dutch friends here, also on the chat at the moment, some of them. I'm not sure if Frank knows about it. Do you know, Frank, we're going to Marsen this Saturday? Because there's a kind of huge retro computer event, which is every 2 months actually, but once or twice a year we do a Sinclair takeover, and this time it's the 20th of October, so we'll go to Marsen with, I think, about 10 people there, and there are more people from other scenes like Atari, Commodore, MSX, and more, obviously. But we're going there because there's lots of new stuff to discuss, lots of new stuff to show each other. People like to meet instead of buy things online, so I have to take some new hardware with me. But that's next Saturday, so I hope I can make it this Friday for the ByteDelight weekly show, because I'm way too busy at this moment, and we'll see if I can manage doing that on Friday, but I will be there on Saturday. It shouldn't be a discussion in any way, because I have to. I'm obliged to. I can get away from that. So if you have anything to ask me or to discuss, let me know in the chat, and I'll add it to the program. One thing I still haven't done is choose the winner of the ZX HD giveaway for the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I still have to do that. It's on my to-do list, so we'll do that hopefully in 1 or 2 days. But maybe it's good to let people know what I'm so busy with. So one of the things is was reading through 37 or 38 pages of EEV blog about the pick and place machine. We'll get to that in a minute. That took a lot of time, and I had to find out some details what that I wanted to know before ordering the machine. So I finished that this last night, I think, on a couch with the kids hanging around and trying to distract me. Anyway, that was one. Then I have to do some bookkeeping which will take over a day, because there's lots of stuff. I can show you guys here a bit of it. There's lots of administration here to process, and lots more. It's not all. And of course, normally my bookkeeper will do all the thinking stuff, but I like to keep up my own administration as well. So future I can easily find out if I'm on track with income and that sort of thing all the time, not once in every quarter. So that's one reason. The other reason is I don't know. I just like to know for myself, you know. It shouldn't be a problem. Maybe in the future I will not do it myself because it takes a lot of time. But still I have to process some PayPal stuff because my bookkeeper wants to have all transactions in euro instead of British pounds and that sort of thing. So I have to do to run some scripting on the PayPal transactions, and it's not easy to get from British pounds to euro because the exchange rate is currently fluctuating, of course. So what I'm doing, and that's legit, is I'm actually searching for the last or the nearest exchange rate. For example, when I pay out something from my PayPal account to my bank account, then it will exchange the amount to euro, and then I have an exchange rate. So that's one of the things my scripting does in Excel, so Visual Basic. So actually it's not scripting, it's programming. But I do that myself, and then after that it's done, I can send it to my bookkeeper, and he also gets all the source files, because bookkeepers must have all the source files. It's a bit windy outside because I see all kinds of leaves in the air. I'm not sure why. Anyway, let's see. That's one thing that will keep me busy in the next days. And the thing is, because I know I have to do that, I must hurry with it always, because I'm always late with sending in my bookkeeping stuff. Because I have to do that, I know I have to make sure other stuff that can't wait has to be done as well before that. You know, it's a priority thing. It's hard to tell what should be done first and what next, because everything has to be done yesterday. So that's the feeling I have doing this for a couple of years now, and now full time. I'm still fighting against my backlog and priorities, and I think it will ease down a bit during next month after I have taken all the big steps. But at the moment it's still a lot of work. No, I can't use only euros, because I know people from the UK will still buy a lot of the stuff made here. We'll find a way of doing that, and I hope I can do it in a way that people from the UK don't have to pay lots of extras. Anyway, so that's one. The other thing is, what was it again? Oh man, I have so many things on my mind at the moment. Well, I still have to do some minor things in the attic here. For example, get the stair holds. I'm not sure what the English word is. You know, which you can hold when you're walking down or up. I still have to finish them because I want to paint them. So that's some work that has to be done. I have to paint the stairs themselves. Let's see, I have to make place here for the pick and place machine. We'll talk about it in a minute. I have to take care of insurances. That's one of the steps I need to finish. I think most of the work is done already, but I still have to do that. I have lots of repairs waiting still. I've done a lot already during the last weeks, but still stuff is coming in. It's behind the display there. I have to offer new products, but it's not. I want to do that after doing bookkeeping and that sort of thing, you know. Right, and then other things like preparing for the meeting next week, which asks a bit more of my time, because I have to produce some more stuff that I can take with me and get things packed, like the things that I will take with me, you know, maybe some parts and soldering iron, that sort of thing. Okay, that's what's keeping me busy, and of course all the daily production and order handling, that sort of thing, that still goes on and on and on. It's like it's a business, you know. Yeah, it's hot here. It's again a very hot day. I'm actually my thermometer says it's 26 degrees, but that's because it's in the sun, I think. What is the temperature in Eindhoven at the moment? 24 degrees. 24 degrees at half of October. What's happening, guys? And it's getting colder during the next days, but not that much. Tomorrow it's only 2 degrees colder, it says. And then it's getting a bit more colder, a bit more cold, but during the next week it's still a minimum of 17 degrees during the day, which is very hot for October, you know. It's also a bit humid in the air, so it feels a bit hotter than it actually is. Hence, my air conditioning is running again. Otherwise, I couldn't work here. Yeah, well, that's strange. It's only half an hour flight to the UK, and there it's completely other weather. What I'm hearing. But anyway, yeah, you could go to the beach, Mark. I think if I had the time, I would do that with my kids. Was it not that we can't get out of Eindhoven at the moment? There's no way getting out of Eindhoven. So if a bomb drops here, then we are just stuck in Eindhoven because of the marathon, you know. Anyway, let's see. Let's get to the program. Otherwise, I'm completely messed up in my mind. I don't have any snack here because I need more water and. Maybe talking about snacks and health, and that I started using. Where's my phone? I started using this app. It's called. Maybe it's cool to share that with you guys. It's called. Come on, man. MyFitnessPal, and it actually shows you your calories that you're allowed to have during the day. So by eating and drinking things like wine or. Juices, you know, and what you already had, and you can earn some more calories points by doing some exercise, training, walking, you know, biking. Anyway, and that's I think I need that because I want to have I want to be reminded more of what I'm eating and when I reach my limit, you know. So that's one way of doing that, and I really am into that at the moment. So let's keep it up. I would think. No doubt about that. Yeah, I can imagine that once the marathon is starting, you have to get out of Eindhoven because otherwise you cannot. Many things have been cancelled. I got some mails from several things like my tennis club that there's no hustling going on at the moment because no one can reach the tennis court. So that's a cool thing. Well, it's not that cool, but yeah, you're completely right about construction works here in Eindhoven. Man, it's ridiculous. They almost completely closed one of the major traffic roads, which creates a ring or a circle around Eindhoven. One part of that is about completely closed, and there are some ways of getting around it and through it, but it's definitely not easy, and especially when people are working, it's a big mess there. So. There's no reason for not getting through Eindhoven, but I actually don't visit the center of Eindhoven a lot because it's way too busy. If you ask me, I like a bit of peaceful silence. No, just joking. If I'm by myself here, I'm just playing music as loud as I can, and the neighbors can join me in listening to the music. Anyway, so enough about snacks and health. Next, all right. I need to do one thing, and I hope I can reach it. So I have to check the marathon course because I have to get to my storage space to get some things out for several people. I think Frank as well. I'm not sure. I have to check. Yeah, I still have to search for you for some books, Frank. Or one book. I'm not sure. I have to check. It's on my to-do list. So that's one reason I would want to get outside, because tomorrow my wife takes the car. We only have one car at the moment because the other one she had some issues that need to be repaired and costing a lot of money. So we decided to get rid of it at the moment. Oh, of course, you have a bike. Yeah. Well, Frank, the thing is, if I want to get to Sugargard, I need a car because I'm carrying crates with me, you know. So if I only had to get that book, then I could do that on bike. But I have some things laying around downstairs that need to get to the storage, and more and more stuff is being stored in the storage because now I do have the storage. I think why store things like your winter tires, for example, in at the tire company storage facility, which cost me a couple of €10 during the year. I think €40 a year, or maybe a bit less. I'm not sure. No, I think it's €20 per season. I think something like that, or €30. So €60 a year, I think, which isn't cheap. And now, once I have the space, it's of course better to store it at that facility instead of another one, which cost me money. And I have my barn in the backyard here, but it's a bit small, and there's already a C5 stored in there, which I still have to work on. I hope it will be finished, but I don't think it will be this year. Alright, so I ordered some, finally ordered some new PC stuff. I got one dislike for that video with showing the performance difference. Maybe it has to do something with ordering in Core i5 instead of a Core i7 or Core i9. Because if you talk about Coffee Lake, then people immediately think you're buying the newest of the newest and the most expensive. And no, I'm not. I just wanted to get an upgrade and finally get a motherboard with M.2 slots and DDR4. But I'm doing that in steps, as I always do. So I always try to keep up with some stuff like SSDs and memory, and because once you're starting with processing videos, you need a system with lots of power and storage space, and the storage space for editing videos must be SSD storage space, otherwise it will be very slow. So the new mainboard has some new features that I was looking forward to for a long time. What am I hearing here? I don't know. I think my neighbor is working in the backyard. So the stuff came in and I assembled it, I think yesterday. I put on a video on YouTube, not showing the system itself, but only the difference in performance. And it's a performance gain, not much. It's 30%. And of course you can get lots of more performance gain when you choose for a Core i7 or Core i9. But I will wait for that upgrade. Maybe in a couple of months we'll see when the prices come down, because at the moment the prices for Intel chips are a bit ridiculous and really have gone up a lot. I think over 40% some of them. So we'll wait with that and see when I can buy Core i7 or Core i9. But at the moment it's faster already, and I'm not working on that new machine at this moment because migrating from one machine to another it takes some time, and I could just swap SSDs, you know, to another machine. But I moved to the M.2 SSD, so I think it was best, like Darren said, to what an awful sound. I don't know what it is. I think the window is opened here. Yeah, RAM is coming down in price. That's correct. So that's a good thing. So I have to migrate all the software and settings, and which is a lot. For me, it's a lot. So I'm waiting for a moment to spend some time on it. I think it could be done in about 2 hours, but still, it's a lot of time if you have to do several other things. But I needed to see if the system works like it should. So all the parts are working just as they should. And what surprised me is that I bought a Core i5 CPU thinking that it was a second-hand CPU, but when it arrived it was completely new, so sealed and all. And So the CPU is new, the motherboard is new, the RAM is used, but you can see it. It was new in box. The SSD is new. It's a Samsung 970 Evo. So M.2 NVMe 500 gigabytes. And maybe I will put in another one in a couple of months because they're really coming down in the price. You can buy a 500 gigabyte M.2 SSD now for 110 euros, a good one. So 1 gigabyte of SSD storage is just over 200 euro at the moment. So less than 200 pounds, I guess, which is really a bargain for that kind of storage space and that amount of storage space when compared to a couple of years ago. Other things that has to be done, I'm always moving stuff. When I upgrade my own machine, the older ones are moved to my kids or my wife. But as I told a week ago, I was making some space in my living room, so I swapped out a desktop that was sitting there with a laptop, Core i5 laptop, and what's happening here? And so we got a kind of a slower machine now, but it takes a lot of less space, so that's good. And I ordered some new desks for the kids. They are in already, so I have to assemble them and put up the new machines for them, which will be done during next week, I guess. I hope. And the old stuff I can show you guys. Let me show you the old desk they're working on at this moment. Might go to the Home Computer Museum in Eindhoven because, in Helmond, because I asked Bart if he would like that. I can show you the picture of how the desk looks because I made it myself and I think it's very cool. This is the. Oh, I cannot zoom in. Maybe I can. Why doesn't that work? I don't know. Oh, wrong button. Right. So this is the desk I made a couple of years ago. It's as you can see, it looks a bit like some really kiddie spaceship. And this is actually a window with a picture of space. It's a transparent photo, so printed on transparent foil. So if you put a light at the other side, then you see space from inside your ship, you know. So two 17-inch monitors, I think, small ones, not at high resolution, but that was a good thing at the time because the PCs didn't have a graphics card that performed well on higher resolution displays. And there's just enough space for 2 keyboards and 2 mice, and especially if you choose for a smaller keyboard or something like a keyboard without a numeric pad, then there's enough space. At the moment the desk is already sitting on some parts that make it a bit higher, but it's really too small for my kids, as you can see on the photo. But I think it's a cool desk, and I would want to get someone else to have it that can make use of it. So either some private person that wants to take it from me, or maybe I can put it on the Home Computer Museum in Helmond if Bart wants it. So I wonder. I really like it. Anyway, so they will get just some boring old IKEA stuff instead. Yeah, of course. Always take an SSD in for your main drive because it will really speed up your machine in every way. An SSD makes your machine way more responsive. So everything you do responds quicker. Like booting up your machine, which will take only a tenth of the time, or starting an application, which will almost run immediately instead of waiting for a couple of seconds. And most laptops have the possibility, most older laptops I should say, because modern laptops almost don't have an optical drive anymore. But if you have a laptop with an optical drive, you can most of them you can swap the optical drive for something called a multi-bay or just a caddy. That's another name for it. Which you can put in a hard drive. So, for example, the hard drive that was used as the main drive in your laptop. And I've done that with lots of laptops. I have one here which you can do the same with. That's the machine for the laptop for a pick and place machine, the controller. Anyway, so do that please, because SSDs will really make your life a lot more easy, if you ask me. I really don't want to work anymore on any PC with with a hard drive. Well, there are still lots of laptops from almost just a bit over a year old that have optical drives, and I think you can still buy them, you know. I just wonder if brands decide to leave out the optical drive, if they would, how many of them would actually create space for a second 2.5-inch drive. But maybe there's no reason for that anyway, because once now there are entered 2 SSDs, I can imagine that brands just would decide to only use Ender2 instead of SATA and optical drives and that sort of thing. Anyway, yeah, really swap it with SSD. Transfer your SSD to the optical drive using stuff like, well, I can show you here because I have all the utilities here on my left at the moment because I used them last week. Oh yeah, of course, you can use Acronis. It's I think it's a free utility if you only use it for cloning your drives. And this is really easy if you want to use it for cloning a hard drive to an SSD, for example. It's not the most wise thing you can do, because if you migrate or transfer a hard drive to an SSD, you may have the chance that some data is stored on 2 sectors instead of 1, and your SSD has to, or your laptop has to do 2 requests for data instead of 1. It's a bit of a complex topic, but it's better to reinstall Windows completely. But it depends on how much time you have at hand, of course. I have the same problem myself. What else? What other utilities do I have? Well, I have Mantis, of course. Yes, still on CD. You can run it from USB stick as well. There's I think this is a legal version of Hyron. I'm not sure, because Hyron actually there was a new version of Hyron made with they say only legit software. What else do we have here? Some CDs with photos from people who were married 50 years, and I was allowed to play the music there. And I was a VJ actually. I played only video clips from music from the 50s, 60s and the 70s, which was really awesome that night. Anyway, Acronis, some driver CDs here. Oh, of course, 3 versions of Windows 10. I got Windows 10 on CD with the Dutch version, 64-bit. I got the Dutch version on SD card, and I got the English version on SD card. And modern PCs with a UEFI, I think. Really great from SD card. So it's the quickest way of installing Windows 10. It only takes 2 minutes, and I'm not joking. When you're installing it from SD card. And I've got a Windows 7 disk. This is legit because it's only the install software, and you can buy licenses from in the grey market for about 20 euros, something like that. Some people say it's not legit, others say it's legit, because some online companies, web shops, offer licenses for only 15 euro something. And they're official licenses, but some others say it's not allowed. I'm not sure. Anyway, if you want, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just order an official license from any store for the full price, whatever you want. Yeah, okay, and NAS, of course, if you're using network attached storage, you use hard drives, of course, because it's that storage is about having plenty of space for backups and that sort of thing. But I'm talking about the disk you're booting from. You know, that should be fast. The disk where all your games and that sort of thing should be on. I would say that should be an SSD. There's no reason not using an SSD for that, because, for example, if you're a gamer and you play lots of games, then you pay, let's say, 50 euro for a game, and maybe more when you're buying add-ins within the game. And if you buy 2 games, you can it's the same amount as in a 500 gig SSD nowadays. You know, so it's not expensive anymore. Let's see, next topic, because we're really going off topic here. This is a Sinclair show, you know. It's still a Sinclair show. An educational version of Windows. I only want Pro versions. I don't want anything else. So I only have Pro versions here at my home. I don't know. In the past you had Ultimate versions, but I don't know. And you have, of course, the business versions, but the most different. Mostly, they are different when it comes to protecting your data. So using EFS, for example, or BitLocker. I think BitLocker is the best, but I don't have BitLocker here. I only have EFS. Yeah, I will do stuff for other machines, of course, but I have to wait for a pick and place machine, guys. Alright, let's get on topic. Pick and place machine ordered with an exclamation mark here. Exclamation mark. Amen. Let's drink some water. So I ordered it. I think the payment has been verified. I have to check, because the seller on AliExpress already contacted me for trying to sell me more stuff, like a more expensive version of the machine, and he was trying to sell. He actually did. He sold me some extra nozzles, because I already read on the forum that the nozzles can be damaged easily. So it's good to have an extra pack of nozzles, and each pack of nozzles, each set contains 4 nozzles with different sizes, and I think I only need the in-between versions, so not the smallest one, not the biggest one, but the small and the mid version. I'm not sure how do you have to call them, because I have to pick up these chips. Oh, I have to be careful with this stack here. These are all the FPGA chips. I have lots of them, and the machine must be able to pick up and place these, and of course all the small stuff. And I'm sticking with the 0805 chips, these ones. And of course these ones aren't on a reel, because the machine only you really should use reels on a machine like this one, but this is for manual placement, and you can see these are very small. But it's not a big problem, because I can do this by hand. Which one did I take? I think it's 10K. Oh man. These are so small, I need a magnifier to see what parts they actually are. Yeah. Alright. So this is for manual assembly, but the machine will take the reels, you know. I have a couple of reels here, empty reels, for maybe I should use them, but we'll see. I think I will buy reels of 3,000 or 4,000 pieces of every part. We'll see. And I found out that I only need a minimum of 11 types of components, because many of the interfaces use the same components. So, for example, the Pro one has plenty of parts that are also used on other interfaces, like the ZXHD, but the only thing is that at the moment the ZXHD has the 1206 size of the parts, and the Pro one uses the 0805 version, because it was possible. And actually I needed to use the smaller parts, because I wanted to make the interface as small as possible, and this was the only way of making it this small. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but I manually routed this board completely, and it took me 3 whole days to manually route this, but it was possible, and it works just fine. Mailman, it's Sunday. Mailman? That's all. Anyway, so once the machine arrives, which should be in about a week, maybe a couple of days less, because some people on the forum, an EV blog, had a machine in about 5 days or so from China. And it's delivered by an express service. It's really expensive, so if you look on some websites like AliExpress, then the machine could be about, you think, just over $2,000, but the shipping costs are over 500 euros. So only shipping is 500 euro for this machine, and it's a really large wooden box that will be in when it will be delivered, and it's really heavy. People told in the forum. So that's one thing. But when it arrives, I should make some decent space here. Then it must be installed, and that will take a lot of time. It will take days before the machine will be up and running, because it must be unpacked. It must be installed here. Then you have to start configuring it, and configuring it is the hardest job, because many of the manual parts are in bad English. It's a Chinese machine. People complain about it a lot, but there's no one who improved the manual. So you have to read along the manual. Then you have to configure lots of files. For example, you want to use some parts. You have to configure exactly which parts are in which position. And after that, you have to take some time to align all the parts, all the reels to an exact position, because otherwise the machine cannot progress the reels with its system. And you may think that professional pick and place machines do all the work for you. Just have to put in a reel and the rest is automatically done. Yeah, that's true, but this is the cheap one, you know. If you buy a professional pick and place machine, it will cost you at least $150,000 or something. And I don't have that money and don't have that space for a machine like that. There are some machines that are from about $6,000, which are far more improved and make it far more easy to replace reels. But I won't install a machine like that, and not at this time, maybe in the future. So this is only my first machine, you know, and it's expensive, but it's a thing I really need for my work to make the income I need, and I think it will benefit everyone who is connected in any way, so customers and other businesses and myself and my wife, my family. Kids will like seeing what the machine does, I guess. Anyway. I hope it's not too loud, because people say the machine makes a lot of noise, so maybe I have to wear ear protection against the sound during the day. We'll see. But I'm not going to run it 24/7, you know. I'm only going to run it for a day or two in a week to start with. What I want to do is, when the machine comes in, I want to start making video blogs with all the progress, because I'm sure many other people will want to know what's involved with installing such a machine, and I will talk about all that in videos in the future. Okay, some details that I already know from the forum, which I think are cool to mention, is, for example, the machine is controlled by an Ethernet port instead of a USB. I'm not sure why they chose for that. It surprised me, but anyway, it's the way it's being done, and I have the feeling that it's because the Chinese government or anyone else in China wants to try to get into my network, and I won't allow that. And why do I say that? Because some people who asked for software upgrades for new versions got contacted back and were told that the only way of getting the file was by WhatsApp. by phone. And what that tells me is, one, that the guys don't want to send the files by email or put it on a website. That's one thing. The next thing is, when you tell them your phone number, they have your phone number. They have more information from you. That's the second thing. I'm not paranoid, because I will tell you why. Then some people who got the files by WhatsApp and stored them on their PC got a virus warning, and different viruses. There were a couple of people who told which virus warning they got, and they were just told by the people who sent them those files that it wasn't any problem, because it was only something had to do with compression software, that sort of thing. Anyway, yeah. Well, when something like that happens to me, some alarm bells are ringing, if you ask me. So all the details together makes me think that they're trying to get into your network, trying to get into your machines, PCs, and trying to get data from you. I'm not being paranoid, because I've watched some videos on YouTube lately from the I think you guys know it, the Microsoft technical departments. You know, you have a problem with your computer. Get to this website and we'll take over your computer, and we'll see. We'll try to find out if anyone is hacking your computer. And people do that, and they get into your computer. They send over some viruses, and then you can get a subscription for a couple of $100 a year, and you never get away from them anymore. And they took over your computer, and they store all your bank account information they can find. So anyway, really be careful with that. And actually, most of the scammers are from India, so not from China. But I don't feel very safe when I hear those things about getting software for the pick and place machine, and I really am careful with that. So what I'm going to do is, the laptop I'm going to use to control the pick and place machine it's installed already. I put on Windows 7 this morning. There was Windows 10 on it. We'll tell you why I got to Windows 7. There's a reason for that, because of course Windows 10 is more safe. You can use more modern software and virus checks and that sort of thing. But anyway, it carries Windows 7 at the moment, and 64-bit, because there was enough memory inside, and it's a bit faster, I think. But it will be detached from my network completely, and so we'll use SD cards for getting files over to the machine. And all software updates, I will think of another way than using WhatsApp to get new versions of software. It's really ridiculous. Will not do that. And I hope the CDs that come in won't contain any viruses in the first place. So we'll see about that, because I already installed the antivirus software on the laptop, just to see if they ship me anything that contains viruses. But the thing is that what I heard from some people is that the viruses they got, actually one of the people told that the virus wasn't picked up in the first place, but after a couple of days it was. So it seems they're trying to use new viruses. So it's not feeling very safe, but you can understand why I'm being so cautious with that. It will be completely cut off the network and internet, and we'll see about how we'll do updates and that sort of thing. It's not the most important thing. It will just be a machine that controls the pick and place machine, not more than that. Then once I've started configuring and testing the machine, it's a long process. It will take days. I also have to finish the reflow oven. I have to think of some, they call it a printer. It's the stenciling machine with which you can put a solder paste on the PCBs. Actually, there are some professional ways of doing that, but the printers for that, which are just manual machines, but still cost a couple of $100, so they're not cheap. So we'll start with the thing I made myself. Okay, I can show you. So this is the stenciling printer, as you can call it. I made myself. So you put your PCB in here, like this. Oh, it's this one is made for the old version. So I'm not using it anymore because it's which one is this? I think this is this one. You can put it here, then you put it this way, so you can see exactly that the pads align with the holes in the stencil. And now it's completely flat. You can put on some solder paste and brush it with a spoon. I hope it's the right word. And the solder paste will only be at the pads that will need to be soldered. So that's a simple way of creating something like that. But it will be something more professional in the future. Yeah. I have to do that. You can understand why, because I won't allow any virus here from China in my house. But maybe they already are in, you know, because you can get viruses in any way. I hope the washing machine is not too loud, because it has to be done a couple of days a week, you know. It's centrifuging at the moment, so it's making lots of noise. Right. So in a week the machine will be in, and maybe next Friday I can show you the machine here already. We'll see about that. Alright, well, another thing, I think it's cool to show you the progress with the desoldering station, because I finally got to use it properly, and maybe it's cool to do that when I'm unpacking some new machines at the same time, so I can get off some ROM chips. We'll do that in a second, but before doing that, where did I put it? Where did I put it? I think it's here. Is it? Or isn't it? Yeah, it's here. Alright. The thing I didn't know, the board I didn't know it was so rare. This is the issue 3B yellow board, and someone told me the short name for this kind of board. It's made of a paper with some glue in it. I forgot the name, but it's a yellow board, issue 3B with white solder mask on it. And people say it's very rare. It's even more rare than an issue 5, or no. I think it's issue 5 is the rarest board I think there is. But Ian told me that this is the next thing, the next best thing. So I have one here. It's the first one I had. It's not the first yellow board, because I have had plenty of these issue 4Bs, I think, 4As. So these yellow boards with the blue solder mask, silk screen, and these are actually quite well known, but people like this yellow board as well. But now this is my first 3B, and yeah, people say it's rare, so I will leave it in the shape it's in at the moment. But just get out this part of the membrane if you don't mind. Yeah, well, what shall I do with it? I'm not sure. I even haven't tested it, so I will just keep it in the state that it's in at the moment. I think it was. I got it in a plus case, but I'm not exactly sure, because there's no soldering for the reset button. So it might just have come in with a rubber case. I'm not sure. So we'll just put it here for the moment with all the other boards. And I think I have more boards than only these ones. I think about twice that amount. But these are almost all working, so that's the reason why I keep them here. The desoldering station. Well, let's unpack some stuff from which came in this week, and this is only a part of it, because only process some other stuff. What do we have here? We have a cool book, Celix 81 book. And let's put it a bit closer to camera and create some space for particular stuff. Alright. So, QL card, the Super Toolkit. I think it's a well-known cartridge. And the cool thing is that these cases are molded and have some logo of the company on it, which is cool. Some Celix 81 books, of course, the Celix 81 with the soldered power wire, power cable, which will be posted later on. Some power supplies, and I don't like this myself, but anyway, some people do that. They put in some switches and LEDs, and this is the QL power supply, so it's not from a plus or a toaster. I have two ZX printers here, and I won't touch them. We'll start using the QL printers and working on them once anyone has belt replacements. So there are also a couple of micro drives in here. We'll not get them out because I've had plenty of those to work on. So a couple of rubber for the case, and from France I got two plus cases, so complete machines actually. And these are completely mint. These are in such a good shape. It seems that they've never been used. They're so clean, man. It's ridiculous. Even the warranty seal is on the bottom. So these are really in great shape. And actually I'm selling the cases separately. Because I only want to sell mint cases when I do that. Then we have a QL, and this one has a really nice original floppy interface here on the side. The machine itself will take some time to refurbish because almost always the membranes has to be replaced and then the micro drives have to be refurbished. But the thing is with these micro drives that Sinclair decided to use some ribbon cable to connect the micro drives to the main board, and it's really pain in the butt to get the ribbon cables in again when you pull them out. So that's why I don't like actually to work on them, but I will have to in the future. And this is the micro peripherals disk interface, and what I like about it is because that it has the Sinclair logo on the side, you know, and it has the heatsink look which we all like. I think I like it. And it's an original interface. It has no extra memory, I think. Oh, it does have some chips at the back, so maybe it's extra memory. But I think it's only disk interface. I have to check. I'm not completely familiar with all the QL hardware that's available, so that's one of the things I have to get into a bit more in the future. But for now, I will leave it with it is at this moment. Ah, come on! Yes, it's in again. All right. So what I want to do is open up some of the machines here and see what they do, if they work. Because I think you will like it and I would like it myself. But first I have to connect my monitor here, cables. So let's do that. Alright, one more cable and we should have power. Alright, let's see, it's on the correct input. Okay, let's start with one of these. I'm not sure if this is clean. If this is clean, so I can use this one. something to put screws in. Alright, so this is an issue 6A. So one of the later ones, and the serial number already showed that a bit, so it doesn't surprise me. Let's do the composite modification and see if the machine works. And let me show you what I'm doing here with the second camera. And I know some people would like to see the other way around. Oh, camera's not working. So, because it shows a static screen, but it can be because there's actually something on there, as you can see. Let's reset the camera and see if that will help. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, we have my hand. Right, let's do some modifications. Let's start with the first. I bet this machine will work just fine because it clearly was almost unused. So I bet this will work without any problem. Of course, there's still the original capacitors on this board. We'll replace them later on. I made this this cool new bracket for my soldering wire and from plexi glass, you know. I like it a lot. Anyway, so that's done. Test it out. See if it works. I'm missing a cable here. Where's my... Oh, it's there. Right. Yeah. Works fine. So the first one is completely okay. For that I have some checklists here. Not a lot, I think. I always write down the status of the machine when I run it for the first time. So this one is just okay. And of course, all the refurbishing has to be still to be performed, but I know the board is working. So that's one. I really need space, man. Let's put it here. It's alive, yes. It's alive, and I already got my Franken keyboard here, Frankenstein keyboard, so it's you can say that, yes, it's alive. Next one. I need another screwdriver. Where is it? Where is my other screwdriver? Lots of screwdrivers here, but I meant this one because oh, it doesn't fit. Because I would think it will fit. That's not a screwdriver then. Come on. So let's get rid of this interface 1. And I always like seeing if this one has been used a lot by... Come on, get out. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Yes, it's good, in good shape. There's no nothing here showing that the ULA chip get too hot, so it's okay. The faceplate is in good shape except for a really ugly it's really ugly damage. I think it's an issue 2. No, it's not an issue 2 because there's some more damage on the side here. I think the faceplate is an issue 2 type, but I'm not sure. And we can see that I say issue 2. It doesn't have to be an issue 2 because, but I think the faceplates with those hooks were mainly used on issue 2. No, it's an issue 3 faceplate, and it's a Samsung keyboard mainboard And you can see that as well because the membrane is the sampling type. It looks new, but it's actually 25 or 30 years old membrane, but better quality than the original Sinclair ones. So modern machine, issue 3B with a modern Type 7 UA chip. Okay, let's check it out. And I know some people hate it when getting the board out of its case, but it's just because some people only want a board and some people only want a case, and that's why I offer them separately. I do offer sometimes some complete machines, but I really don't have much time to work on complete machines nowadays. We'll do more in the future, but for the time being, we'll sell these parts separately. So, another composite video mod. You can see how easy this is. I really like using it this way. I think it's this should be the way in every working place. Anyway, let's test this one out. This is boring. Another one working. And sometimes I think, why is it working? Because I can't do anything about a machine that's already working. Only refurbish it. Swap the capacitors. But of course, it just saves a lot of time. So it isn't a problem at all. Well, that's not a rare freebie. These Samsung boards are really common. Yeah, everyone likes scratches. I was talking about scratches, Rene, not dents. This is from a known seller from eBay. Something has something to do with blood. I think many of you guys know the guy from eBay. He sells a lot of boards and machines, and well, the back of this machine is really scratched and a lot of tape on it. So I probably won't be selling this case for a long time. I do keep them because I think it's a waste of throwing anything away. It's strange. This seems to have a Samsung membrane, but it doesn't have a Samsung board in it, so I think, oh man, this is a Frankenstein Spectrum. It's an issue 6 board with an issue 2 ULA chip on. That's ridiculous. So something messed up here. Someone messed up, I mean. Because there will be some issues with the timing and other things doing it this way. But let's just see if it works. It's the first thing for now. The case is worthless, if you ask me, for the time being. Because in the future, things will get more rare and more expensive. Someone will be interested in that case. Oh man! Right. So this is still not my core business, you know, working on the original ZX Spectrums. Although I have plenty of them waiting for some TLC, but it's just not my core business. I'm really trying to focus on new hardware. But when I see machines like these ones offered, I always try to put in some bids, reasonable bids. I don't want to overpay because it's my living now. So anyway, I'm not a collector, but I have hundreds of machines. Oh, this is doing nothing. That's not a good thing. Nope. That's not good. Oh, it is working. Well, just my connector. There's some low data chip problem in here. Yeah. I say it's D1, the D1 chip, so it's IC7, that's my guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the edge connector. Oh, 3Bs are more, yeah, of course, you're right. 3B Samsung, yeah, well, you may be right, yeah. So the one that I just had, was it the Samsung 3B, yeah? Was the 4, yeah, it's a 3B, yeah, you're right. That's totally right. So this is indeed a rare board, because the Samsung boards are typically 4Ss, not 3Bs. So how rare is this one then? I'm really getting a nice collection of rare boards here. You're totally right. Cool. Let's get out the Samsung one then. I mean the 4S. So for example this one. This is also Samsung. I have to show you that in camera, just a second. On a good camera, not on this one. So we have two types here. We have the 4S above and we have the 3B down. And they both are Samsung, I think. Do we have any guarantee it's a Samsung? How can I make sure it's a Samsung? I have no idea. I just think it's a Samsung. All the parts show it's a Samsung. Yeah, it must be. So these are not ZTX chips, these are the Samsung ones. The capacitors are from Samsung, the voltage regulators from Samsung. So I think the 3B from Samsung is another rare one. You're totally right. Cool! More rare stuff. I like rare stuff. Cool. Yeah, okay, yeah. Green board and purple capacitors. Nice. Just to ask my wife to get out the clothes because otherwise they will stink. Maybe she can bring me coffee. Yo, was het klaar en kun je koffie brengen? Oké, doei. That was totally Dutch. Anyway, let's get down with it. Oh yeah, I was working on this one. I say it's IC4, 7, sorry. Must be. Oh, it's 6. Yeah, of course, it's 6. No, it's D6, so it's IC7. So I say it's this one, and it also says chip 2, so 012 is dead. So, okay, two dead chips. We'll work on that later. So it's clear which chips are dead and need replacement, probably, because it could still be the capacitors which are causing the issue. We'll check that. So what I'm writing down is caps first, and then D2 and D6. That's the only thing I'm writing down at this moment. In the meantime, let me print some checklists. Because I need some more. So we have some more now. Okay, next machine. This is only a case. I thought it was a board here. It's only a case. Anyway. One of the plus machines I had in... I didn't leave the other one. Oh there. One of the plus machines I had in I already processed, so this empty case came with the plus machine. So the board inside this case has been upgraded to the plus case. But anyway, it's not important. The faceplate is in good enough shape, I would say, so I think it can be used. Again, I'm not sure, I have to check. So I always clean up the case properly before starting, so after that I can say if it's good enough to sell again. I'm not sure about it now. So now interface 1, let's get it off. Get out! Yes, that's one, and that's two. Alright, just showing the difference. So this one is clearly a bit damaged, the case is a bit damaged, and so the ULA chip has gotten too much heat. And I think iron heat sinks those ULA chips as well, am I right? To check that. But not now. Right, let's see what's in here. It's an issue 3B, a normal one. Only got a rare one during last week. So this is a normal issue 3B. No composite modification at the moment, so let's do that first. Yeah, it's stuck. But I always win. Right. Sometimes the wire is not long enough, but most of the time it reaches the other side without any problem. And I often get asked if people, if you should need a capacitor, and I've never seen any benefit of that, so I never do add a capacitor. I think some television sets may not like some DC offset in the video signal, if there is any. So maybe that's the reason that some people add a capacitor, but I don't see any reason for it. This is a bit loose, so let's just screw it on a bit more. Alright, it's better. Let's see if this one works. It does, but I didn't see any color, am I right? Oh, there's this color. Color, no problem at all. Yeah, there is a replacement ULA for interface 1, but I have so many interface 1. I have a complete crate filled with interface 1s, so there's really no need for me at the moment, because I have 40 or 50 of them. Before I need a replacement, I think it will take a couple of years. So this one is working as well, but I ran out of checklist paper, so I have some new ones here. People might think, why I have 3 printers? Well, I told last video, it's because one of them contains the labels for companies like DPD when you want to print those press labels, the barcodes on it. One has one of the 3 printers is one that has the newest toners in it, and I use that for printing all the manuals. And one has one of the printers, the middle one. I use the toners that has some stains, for example, that makes stains on paper. So I don't use them for manuals, but I use it for printing address labels and other things. that's why I have 3. And I always want one printer to be perfect. The DP printer just needs a perfect black toner, and the middle one is for anything else. And there's another reason. If one of the printers may stop working, I must be able to continue printing, you know. And these are actually really cheap laser printers. They're double-sided printers and only a bit over €100 each. And I use refills for toners, and that's what makes it the cheapest way of printing in great quality. So this board is finished for now. Let's see, I have one plus case left. And in a minute I will show the solder station, because at this moment I'm using it without any problem. And I want to show you guys that's really a good machine once you get to know it. And that's with all complex machines. So I think you can say there are some how do you say it, some levels of complexity for several machines, you know. Alright, this one also has, I think, a new membrane. It looks really new. It's not really old, I think, but it's a good thing. Of course, I will test it thoroughly, and we'll check for cracks and that sort of thing. But it looks as a new membrane. Maybe it's a couple of years old. I'm not sure. Definitely not 35 years old. But what's talking about machines? Well, if you talk about complexity, I think a soldering iron is the least complex. You know, it's just something you switch on and heats up, and you can solder with it. Then the next thing after that is, well, let's say a desolder pump, for example, which you need when you're trying to remove parts. And I always use solder wick with parts like the desoldering pump, because to clean up all the remains, all the small remaining parts, I use solder wick for. What else do you have then? Well, I think the next step is the desoldering station then, and when you're talking about production suite, production line, I have to call it. Then the next thing of complexity, I think it's is the pick and place machine. And maybe there are some other steps in between. Of course, you have the reflowing methods for printing, soldering these chips. But I do that with just the soldering iron and the flux pen, of course. So I think that these tools are really mandatory for any advanced manual soldering place. You know, if you don't use them, it will be hard time soldering anything. So, for example, if you want to assemble a harlequin kit, then at least you need a soldering iron and a desoldering pump. And to make it more easy, I would say use some wick as well. So those are, in my opinion, the minimal things for doing advanced soldering. And you can do many things with those. You can even solder SMD boards with those parts, and of course the flux pen, which I was showing a second ago. If you want to do more automatic stuff, then you need if you have to do more volume, so more boards, for example, then you need a desoldering station, which I will use in a second. And if you want to do automatic assembling, then you need a pick and place machine. And the cheapest one starts at about €1,500. But it's really a toy. It's more of a toy than it's a complex machine, because the cheapest ones are really slow, don't have any visuals, so no cameras or something. And the first machine with a camera starts at it's the machine that I just bought this morning, which is the TVM 802, which starts at about €3,000, almost €3,000. And of course, with a pick and place machine, you need a reflow oven. So if you do that, you can you have a production line for semi-automatic assembly for board volumes up to, let's say, 500 boards a week, so something like that. Because you cannot do much more than that with a machine like that. If you want to do more, then you have to either outsource your production or search for some space and order a professional machine, and those are really more expensive. There's not much in between the machine I ordered and a professional one, except for some machines that have some benefits compared to my machine, which I will start with. But the more expensive machines sit at about 6,000 to 10,000 euros, something like that. But after that, there's nothing more. You can do two things. You can either order more of the same machines, or you could do it with a professional machine, either at your own company or outsource the production, of course. And I think if you have the volume of thousands a week, there's really no reason of doing it yourself. I think you should indeed get a company, a PCB assembly company doing it for you, like Henrik does with the ZX Spectrum Next, of course. But from my calculations, buying a machine, a pick and place machine myself, is a really good investment instead of outsourcing production completely, because it's so much more expensive to outsource production for these fairly simple interfaces. Right, next board. Oh man, this one is really stuck. Okay, where is my big screwdriver now? Man, oh, that one was stuck, man. You have to be careful because it's easy to damage yourself in the process. Most probably we'll be talking about a pick and place machine and production lines and that sort of thing more in the future, but this is what I'm starting with for myself with ByteDelight, and we'll see what I'm doing in a year. I'm not sure. I think most of my time will be filled with developing new stuff by then, because I hope my wife can help me with operating the pick and place machine in the future. She has a job at the moment, but it's not paying very well, so why not doing something that pays better, because it's for our same benefit, you know, for our family. So why not? But the question is, does she like it or not? And at this moment, she really is not that much interested in the stuff I do here. So we'll see about it in the future. But of course, one of the reasons getting a pick and place machine is you can do other stuff at the same time. And I have to see if I can do that. If I have to operate the pick and place machine myself, the question is, this one works as well. The question is if I can do something else at the same time. So another board that's working, which is great. So only one board has some minor defects. Oh, so good results for these machines here. And one more rare board. Yeah, you're totally right, Owen. When you have to outsource the supply, you get lost. When you have to outsource production for assembling stuff, it's you have to think of ordering over a couple of hundred boards in the same time, because otherwise it's not profitable anymore. But it's a bit of the same when you do it with your own pick and place machine, because you have to configure it for a specific interface, specific board, which will cost time. And of course, you're configuring it. You have to create some files that can be read by the machine. You have to do that only once if the board is not changing. But for every new board, you have to configure it again, and it's only interesting to do that when you're producing, for example, 100 boards or 200 boards yourself in a day or two. Otherwise, you have to do the setup again completely. So, in other words, I guess when I will get to use the machine, I will make a series of 100 to 200 boards at the same time, and it most probably will be half finished boards. So all the SMD parts will be soldered on. But for example, I'm not sure if the pick and place machine can handle, for example, these tactile switches buttons, because they're not in the reel. So I think I have to place these by hand, and maybe it's more easy to use the through-hole versions in the future, because they can be more easily put in the circuit board. And then you have to, of course, assemble the edge connectors, and that's not something that the machine can do at this moment. So that's another thing. And of course, the case has to be finished by hand, all the spray painting and putting on the label and the light guides. So there's plenty of stuff needing to be done by hand, and not everything will be done by the pick and place machine. But that's why I think it's great to produce about 100 boards, maybe more, in one run. So I have some stock for about 1 or 2 months, for example, for each interface. Maybe some better selling interfaces will need more boards in one run. But anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So all the setup time should be as minimum as possible. Alright, so I've worked on all the new boards that came in. I think I processed it all at the moment. So next thing I want to do is, well, let's see. Yeah, why not? Let's pick a board that is, well, let's see. I already did a lot of these last week, but I want to give some demonstration. So I think let's just do the ULA socket here. So I'm going to power on both machines now. I hope you can. Oh, I have to switch to the other scene here. Just a second, please. Oh. Alright, I know this camera isn't the best, but just want to show you at this moment that the machine performs well once you have gotten to know it a bit. So let's have a chip here. As I said last time, I always do some reflowing of the old solder that's on the board already. The way I do it, some other people use only some new flux. And one thing that I don't like on this socket, for example, because I'm getting out the ULA socket only at this moment, is that some pins are bent. Most probably because in factory they bent the pins so the socket would stay in while doing the solder bath. I'm not sure what the word is. Anyway, so I have to bend those pins again to get out the socket without any problem. I have to wait until the temperature is high enough, which is almost done. And in the meantime, I'm going to open the window here. Yes, it's at the temperature I put it in. It's a high temperature because otherwise the solder will get stuck in the gun itself. So let's see if it works now. immediately open, but I cleaned it last time, so it must be almost open. It's open. Okay. Oh man, this is a bad demonstration, of course, because I was telling you guys that it worked flawlessly last time. So I'm not sure what it's doing. Not sure what it's. Okay, I can hear it passing air now, so it should be good. Why is it getting stuck again? I'm not sure. I think I read that some people had problems with the vacuum pump, so maybe it's just the pump. But I really have the feeling that the nozzle is not open. Okay, this is still not a good demonstration, but anyway, last week when I tried it I had no problem at all, so I'm not sure what's going on now. I don't know. This is not a good demonstration. I think it's something with the heater, I'm not sure. Because it's getting stuck immediately. The cables are just strange here, I'm not sure. Let's just check out if it works in a second. Okay, it seems to work now. Oh man! Maybe I should just get a bigger nozzle or something, because I'm not sure what it's doing at the moment. It's not the temperature. It doesn't want to cooperate today, just like last week. So I'm not sure why it's doing this, because I cannot find any reason for it. I said last week it was working flawlessly, and at this time it's just trying to Now, last week it worked without any problem. I got out several chips without any issue, and now it's just really giving me a hard time, and I have no idea why. So I'm thinking it's the vacuum pump. It gets stuck immediately, so I'm not sure what it is. Oh wait, maybe it's this. I didn't press this piece, but let's see if it works. Nope. I have the feeling that the vacuum pump is not strong enough, and that could be the reason. It could also be that the piece of felt that's in here, or felt, sorry, is dirty or something like that. Because it sounds that even if there's some airflow, that it has it's having a hard time getting the air out, or the stuff out here. But it's definitely not working as good as it did last week, so I don't know what it is at this moment. It's not stuck or something, so I think it's a pump or something else that is really being pain in the ass. Anyway, what I will do is we'll check out some forums again and work on this another time, because this is not working as I wanted. So I just wanted to show you that it worked just fine, but it's not. Again, it's not. Last week it was working. It's camera shy. It must be something like that, Frank. I'm not sure why it's not working at this time. I think I will just look up some forums again and see what improvements some people have done with the camera to get it working in the way they want. We'll see about that. Anyway, it's a pity. It's a pity that it's not working perfectly at this moment. Let's see. We're on for over 1.5 hours already. I think we're not in the original YouTube music video again. No, it's another one at this moment, but it's not a big problem. Let's switch to the main view, which is a bit better. Anyway, I had lots of fun with testing all the new boards. So this stack here. So we have 4 working boards. One with pilot defects and one issue freebie from Samsung, which is a bit rare. I like that. So what I'm doing during the next days is finishing bookkeeping, waiting for the pick and place machine to arrive, and doing repairs and other stuff here, and try to get the desoldering station working as it should, because this is really frustrating me a lot. Anyway, but I guess it's frustrating you guys who are watching even more than it is doing on me, because you guys have to wait and see that it doesn't work. Although I said it was working. Anyway, some people YouTube is trying to learn me about Super Chat. But I think it's too early to enable super chats. But if you want super chats, then why not? In the future, we'll do that. But anyway, I don't know if you guys have heard about super chat. I think it's cool, because sometimes if you watch live streams of people like Linus Tech Tips or Jay's 2 Cents or Steve from Gamer Nexus, which channels I really like, then it's cool to chat along and send in some messages that they read out loud. Things like, I really love your work. You can pay some extra to have your message shown out loud. Anyway, I think it is enough for this show. Hope you are as curious as I am for the pick and play machine to arrive. And I hope I will have lots of new news next week. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the great weather here in Holland. And maybe it's not that good in the UK, but have a good time this afternoon. And I will see you next week, I hope. So, bye! Head over to zxspectrum.shop to buy brand new add-ons for your ZX Spectrum. Lots of different products are available. For example, the ZX HD HDMI interface, or the DiffMC Enjoy Pro 1 SD card interface, and lots more. Set a currency preference to British pounds or euro, and check out easily. Also found on our website are links to our Facebook page with weekly updates of all kinds of ongoing projects. And of course, do subscribe to our YouTube channel with lots of reviews and the ByteDelight weekly show episodes.